Hey y'all, it's your girl Millie Chan. I'm back with part 2 of Jane being on the stand. Let's get into it. So this is where we left off, right? She came out of the bathroom. Diddy was on the phone. He told her it's going to happen tonight. She said, okay. She was kind of nervous. We find out that she understood that the guy that Diddy said was coming was the person that she was going to have bang bang with. And he was the fantasy guy. And they were in a suite. Let's keep going. Child, so they asked who was done. She said it was one of the entertainers. So they showed a photo to the jury, but not the gallery, right? They didn't want any personal information being spoken about because of her pseudonym right here. So they asked what was next. She said that she was on the couch with her robe on, her legs was crossed. She said she was very nervous. And what happened next? She said Sean told her to stand up. Child, she said she had to start dancing to get her nerve up. And then Dunn was only in his underwear. And then they asked what was Diddy doing. Child, he was standing there watching and pleasing himself. Okay? What was he talking? Was he talking? What was he saying? She said he was being encouraging and sweet. She said she was ready to speed it up a little bit. And they asked her, what does she mean to get this over with? Child, she asked for some protection. Diddy told her that the guys had been tested at the time. So the answer was no. No protection. Okay. Later, after he left, her and Diddy did the bang bang. Right? And the next day she said she went home and they went on a boat trip. So I guess the boat trip was to like calm her nerves and just kind of put her at ease. They asked her, how does she feel? Baby, she said, I feel exhilarated. It was taboo. I had a good time with my partner. Did you think, she was asked, did you think that you would do it again? She said no, or maybe a few times, something taboo. And then she was asked, how did things change? She said it opened Pandora's box. There was so much of it afterwards, too much of it. That's what she said, y'all. It was so much. It was too much. How often? She said all the time. And then the AUSA was like, later, did you tell him you didn't want it? Let's see what she said, y'all. Baby, she said yes. And the AUSA said, did you write it or did you verbally tell him? She said both many times. But at this point, she's reeled in, right? Did he send her $10,000? He's taken her on these trips. He's made her feel safe. He's been encouraging and sweet while she was with another person, while he's watching. She all in. She's too far gone. So then the AUSA was like, what did Sean tell you about your rent when you said you didn't want to do this with other men? She said that he give me maybe 3 more months. And how did that make you feel? She said she was frustrated. She felt obligated. Obligated to do what? Child, then they objected. And of course, they went on to a sidebar. So when they got back from the sidebar, the AUSA was like, between 2023 to the time of his arrest, did he pay your rent and make you feel obligated to have bang bang with other men? She said, yes. What did you two call this night? She said, debaucheries or hotel nights. What? She said she saw him often. Every time you see him, did you have hotel nights? She said yes. Even though we'd spend a day or two together after, it all felt like a hotel night. Who decided them? She said Sean. On short notice, she said I always had childcare ready. So she did replace Cassie. You know what I'm saying? And he had this girl caught up and had her childcare probably paid for. Then, child, she said, I was always put together. They told me, so what you talking about? She said, my hair, my nails, my tan. He wanted me to be beautiful. Then she was asked, did she go out with friends, right? She said, not after a trip in summer of 2022. He was dismissive. And then the AUSA was like, in the summer of 2021, she said they went to France. And then she also went on to say, I went to the south of France with my friends. He was mad at her in the voice notes. You can just imagine how he was cursing her out in them voice notes. Then the AUSA asked her, who did he want you to look like? Or what did he want you to look like? She said straight hair, ponytail when we had bang bang. He wanted me to pierce. She said, where? She said, my. Ooh! What? We'll talk about that. Then the AUSA said between 2021 and the break in 2023, when much money did you make and how? She said social media posts, but that went down because my presence went down. I was focused on Sean. He would give me money here and there. Now let me tell y'all something. Y'all a content creator, don't y'all let nobody take y'all off your square. You see this? This girl done lost her social media presence. And when he stopped giving her money, honey, it was not coming in like it used to. Oh! So, child, we find out that, after her social media presence went down because she was only focused on Sean, she said he give her money, every so often, like $20,000 at a time. So then she was asked, did you tell him you wanted to make your own money? She said, when OnlyFans got big, I told him I wanted to do it like one of my model friends. Child, he told her no, right? And then she was asked, what is OnlyFans? She said, subscribe to models. I'd do nudity. And then there was like no actual acts, right? She said, right, but he didn't approve. Why did you feel you needed his approval? She said, I felt he was my boyfriend. And then the AUSA said, sealed exhibit, what is this? She said, my lease, April the 4th, 2023. So then the AUSA asked her how much was her rent every month. She said $10,000. Then Diddy told her, let's do a love contract, right? A flirty thing. And he asked her how much allowance did she want. She said 15. He said 10. And they was like 1,000. She said yes. She said she wanted a beautiful home for balance. Now her rent is $10,000. He is only going to give her $10,000 a month just to keep the roof over her head. She going to have to do everything else. What? Out. I ain't gonna even get into me. Then the AUSA said, what's this? She said, a wire transfer. To pay your rent? She said, yes. Who got your plane tickets to fly to the hotel nights? She said, his travel agent, Jess, or KK. So then they start describing the hotel suites. There were red lights, sheets everywhere for the excessive use of baby oil. How many bottles? They said objection, sustain, per hotel night. She said 2 dozen bottles or more. Child. Okay, so then the AUSA asked her about a particular night. They showed her a photo. They didn't show it to the gallery. And the question was, where was the hotel night? She said, this was in my apartment. And then she told them that she wore lingerie, high stripper shoes. What would you and the other man do first? They said objection. They had to rephrase. Oh my God. So, honey, they have rephrased, right? And they want to know who would she greet. She said the entertainer, she was on drugs. Diddy told her to touch herself, and then the bang bang. And then she was asked, did she have oral intercourse? She said she would have oral with them and intercourse with Diddy. Then she was asked, would she clean up the happy ending? She said no. Child, this right here. Child, the AUSA said, how long was the hotel night? She said 20 to 30 hours. The AUSA said, we could break here. I know that's right. I know that's right. Child, the judge said, we may start staying later. Do not speak with each other about this case. All rise. Then the AUSA was like, Jane's counsel wants you to remind those in the gallery not to report any personal identifying info from the lawyer's screens. Okay. And then the lawyer was like, I may submit a letter about the SCIF. Child, it has been adjourned. And yes, it should be, because that was a lot. Now I'm going to head on over here and see what all he has to say, because I'm sure this is going to be very entertaining, right? Now we know why he be on Diddy's neck so tough. It's your girl, Millie Chun. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.